Hey guys, Thomas here. Welcome back to Coaster Media. Today is my top 15 roller coasters as of February 2017. Now, some of these coasters will have off-ride footage as I'm discussing them and why they're in that place, but some, unfortunately, I was unable to get footage of. But without further ado, let's get into it. The first coaster to make this list is Racer at Kings Island. This was my first big boy roller coaster, and it's still one of my favorites. The first time I rode it 47 times in one day. Me and my dad were going insane, and that is when me, Thomas the roller coaster nerd, the monster, was born. This ride has lots of great airtime, not to mention you get to race and have fun with your friends or family or whoever you're riding with. It's just awesome. One thing I'd like to complain about, though, is I wish the other side would still go backwards, because I never got to experience the backwards racer. I rode it the year they changed it back to forwards, which is the first year the park operated as Cedar Fair. So yes, that was number 15. Coming in at number 14 is The Beast, which is also at Kings Island. And the Beast is currently my favorite wooden roller coaster, but that'll most likely change during spring break if I go to ZDTs and ride Switchback, and hopefully it'll change again this summer if I get to ride Voyage or Mystic Timbers. So hopefully that'll change. But what I like about the Beast is I don't really care that it doesn't have any airtime. The trims don't bother me too much because I'm smart when I pick my seat. But I love just flying by all the trees at high speeds. I mean, that's kind of all the ride does. But I have an appreciation for the classic layout that it has, and it's one of a kind as well. At number 13, we have Vortex at Kings Island. Hey Thomas, why are all 13, 14, and 15 all at Kings Island? Well, that is because the only classic coasters that I actually like are all at Kings Island. But anyway, I like Vortex because it has a nice mix of elements. It has some really fun loops. You get really cool airtime in the back seat on certain parts of the ride, and it is just awesome. I love the inversions. They're not too jerky. It's not really bumpy either. So yeah, it's why I like Vortex, and it's also my first coaster to go upside down. Coming in at number 12 is Banshee, which is also at Kings Island. Now, the reason why this is not my favorite B&M invert is because it's kind of spread out and it has some forceless moments. It is also kind of rattly. And on this B&M, I also do notice the rattle a lot, unlike Diamondback, where you don't really notice it. But Banshee can be kind of shaky, like Millennium Force. But I do think it's very fun. The inversions are really awesome. I also do love the theming, the layout, and the color scheme. It's awesome. And the restraints are just kind of okay. Number 11 is the first coaster on this list that's not at Kings Island. And it is Goliath at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. The reason why this is my second favorite B&M invert is because it is much smoother than Batman the Ride over Texas. It is much, much smoother. The operations are better, and it never has a line. I also do like the color scheme quite a bit more. I love the blue with like the golden supports. It's awesome, and man, I just love it. It's nice and smooth. Zero G roll is perfect. Everything is just smooth. If I could emphasize on the word smooth anymore, I would. Like, it's just perfect. The only downside I can think of it is probably the name. I mean, that's pretty much the only bad thing about it. The corkscrews can be a little bit jerky, just like all old B&Ms, but besides that, it's pretty much perfect. And now we're in the top 10, and my number 10 is Gatekeeper at Cedar Point. I like this because it's sort of like Banshee, but it's more forceless. And the reason I like this coaster is because it's forceless. I like the forcelessness because it feels like you're really just like floating and sort of floating through time. It's really cool, and you kind of float through all the inversions. And my favorite part of the ride is probably, almost most definitely, the drop in the front right seat. You just hang upside down. It is fantastic. Beautiful ride. Awesome ride. Number 9 is New Texas Giant at Six Flags over Texas. This was my first RMC, and it still is one of my favorites. I've only ridden 2 at the moment, but I really love how the bank turns. You kind of pop out of your seat and you're actually sideways. It almost feels like you're upside down. This ride has so much airtime. I can't believe it doesn't have come near a record, because it has quite a bit of airtime. Obviously not as much as Voyage and Diamondback, but it still has quite a bit. But yeah, I just love this ride. Best backseat ride ever. Front seat is just okay. I definitely recommend riding backseat on any RMC. Fantastic ride. Number 8 is Superman Krypton Coaster at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. This is my favorite floorless coaster and one of my favorite B&Ms. Notice how I said one of my favorites, of course, but I think this ride's awesome. It dives off the wall a couple times. It has a nice mix of inversions. One of the tallest vertical loops in the world. The Cobra roll's not bad. It's nice and smooth. The only complaint I have is a little bit of a rattle right by the corkscrews. But besides that, it is as smooth as butter. Number 7 is Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast at Texas. I love how this ride goes backwards and forwards. You get some amazing hang time, like awesome hang time. You get to go through an intense turn, and you get some really cool, it's not even really hang time, it's like dangling forward time, and that's really cool. So Mr. Freeze will be my number 7. Now, this one is going to surprise a lot of you. Especially if you've been with Coaster Media since the beginning. You guys will know that I used to have a pretty bad opinion of this coaster. I thought it was overrated, even though I'd ridden it quite a bit. But I rode it again this winter, and my opinions have changed. Number 6 is Iron Rattler at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. This is now currently my favorite RMC. To be honest, I think New Texas Giant is a better ride, but I like Iron Rattler better, if that makes sense to any of you people. It should to most of you. Anyway, I love the drop. This is one of my favorite drops, especially if you're in the back seat. You are getting thrown out of your seat, and you're getting thrown out of your seat once again when you pop over that hill, and then you curve on that overbank curve, and then you keep curving as you fall off the wall, and you just fly into that barrel roll, which is one of my favorite inversions, maybe one or two. I'll have another video about my favorite inversions. And then you just get some nice airtime and some cool bank turns, more airtime. You dive off the wall again, fly through a tunnel, and fly into the brakes. It is just fantastic. You want to get back in line and go again. The only downside is the ride lasts like less than 30 seconds, and the line is like 4 hours long. No big deal. Number 5 is Raptor at Cedar Point. This is by far my favorite B&M invert. It is big. It has an awesome drop. It is awesome in every seat. It's not too rough. Yes, it can have some head banging, but if you know how to ride a roller coaster like me, you won't get any. The only rough part actually may be the Cobra roll, but I'm not sure. The inversions, they're nice and smooth. The corkscrews are nice and twisty. The 0G roll is also nice and twisty. It's got some fun helixes low to the ground. You feel like you're going to get your feet chopped off. Number 4 is Top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point. There's not much to this ride. It's basically just a lot of speed, G-force, awesomeness, and then it's over. It's literally 15 seconds long. But it's awesome, and there's so much adrenaline. Top Thrill Dragster. Number 3 is Millennium Force, which is also at Cedar Point. What a surprise! Anyway, I think Millennium Force does not deserve my number 1 spot. We'll get into that later, but before everyone starts complaining, I just want to let you all know that these are my opinions, not yours. Feel free to make your own video, but this one's mine. Anyway, I like Millennium Force that has speed, turns, and airtime, and that's everything a coaster enthusiast needs. At least me, anyway. I love it has ejector airtime and floater airtime, depending on the seat. Coming in at number 2 is Maverick. This is the final coaster that is at Cedar Point, and this ride is awesome. It's non-stop fun and insane turns and twists from the beginning to end. It is fantastic. It even has some airtime, and the transitions are nice and smooth. And the best part is probably the launch, and right after the trim brake, you fly down right by the water. That's probably my favorite part. Number 1 is Diamondback at Kings Island. The reason I like Diamondback is because it has amazing speed, amazing airtime, the most on any steel coaster in the world. I think it crushes every other B&M Hyper, but we shall see because I shall be riding more very soon. Hopefully Diamondback lives up to it because I think it is fantastic. But you know what? Something could be better. You never know. It's all opinions, man. What I do like about Diamondback also is the cool color scheme. The trains are really cool, and I really like the splashdown. I think that's really awesome. That's really nice piece of scenery that Cedar Fair added in. So let me know what your guys' top 10 or top 15 or what your opinions on my opinions are. Tell me your opinions. I want to hear them. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time here at Coaster Media. See y'all later.